Hello, and welcome to a very special Court of the Ring Wraiths on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and there's a bit in the Angmar and Mordor launch article that talks about when will Ring Wraiths appear. Wraiths will appear when the Veil of the Nine challenge is currently active on either Angmar or Mordor. The timing of this activity will be determined by Standing Stone Games. We currently do not plan to announce when Wraiths will appear. I should just real quick say that in some ways that's true, and in some ways that is not true. They will, in fact, at least one, will be appearing here very shortly over on Mordor. And I've got with me a guest here this week. With me is Vastin. How you doing, Vastin?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. You are audio only because you're behind a keyboard doing things today, and you're going to be here to provide commentary, but you're not on camera because you're doing things. You're actually going to be spawning a Ring Wraith here on Mordor here in just a minute. And
Yeah.
people on the stream will know that I am on my admin character as well. This is Cordovan, and in just a moment you won't even see me anymore. I thought I'd show people how that works a little bit. It's kind of neat. But I'm going to be the camera here today while we spawn a couple of wraiths and see a wraith fight. We're also at the end of the show here, after we're done with this bit. I do have some news about things that happen both this week and things that'll happen next week as well. We do have a patch set for next week. And before we get too far along as well, I want you to put on your calendar 2 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/LotraStream on Wednesdays. At least through the month of September here. So starting next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, they have a cave troll. This is Orion and Scenarios, podcast style show that debuted here on Court of the Rings, within the past couple of weeks. And they're going to kick off a series of shows that are leading into the launch of our expansion here in September. So these are going to be generally the casual stroll style previews of landscape areas coming with our Legacy of Morgoth expansion. But next week is a little early yet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have our next, they have a Cave Troll podcast. And then the week following is tentatively scheduled to be the first of those previews. So I want to put that one up front before we get to big news today, because we also have big stuff happening starting next Wednesday. So enjoy that. We also do have a new calendar on LotraStream as well. I updated it this week, so all of the show start times are accurate except for one I guess I got to fix today. But other than that, they're all there. So that's what we got going on. All right, so I am on Mordor and I am on Cordovan, and I am about ready to make myself disappear. And the reason I'm doing that is just for better camera stuff. So let me select myself and then run this command. And the fun thing about this command is other people in game, if I were visible, could see me. It's literally just making it not visible to my game client. Isn't that weird? Isn't that kind of fun? All right, so let me real quick before we actually do this thing, let me get into chat and see if we got anything you need to answer. Say hello to some folks. How you doing? Lizzie is not here yet. I don't see her either. She's been taking a nap, so. And yes, we do. There's a certain TV show that kicked off this week. Exciting times, huh? I haven't had time to watch it because I'm doing stuff, including this. Is it a real Wraith coming in the game for us on Mordor to fight? It is. Let's see. Wraiths. All right. There we go. So, Vastin, are you ready for me?
Just about. Let me soften up this area a little bit.
Okay.
Real quick first. I am adding some additional fun, because why not? And I'm probably going to scare some players right now.
We don't have anything to announce about when the next level cap increase will be coming to Mordor. It'll be with Moria and such, but it'll be later. We haven't yet announced a timetable for these releases. We're being a little more flexible this time on our release. We will, I'm sure, eventually end up with a cadence that'll be something that you can rely more towards. But at least for now, that's not the
Yeah,
case, and we're sort of going to base it really on population trends and demographics and our own calendar and things like that. So,
okay, I think we're about ready to go here.
all right, let me teleport to you. I hope this works.
So there are a couple of harrowing wraiths in the area that are entertaining people even as we speak, by which I mean killing them.
Okay.
And
I
Here
am
we go.
somewhere. I am somewhere. I see a rift into shadow. I don't see you, but that's probably because you're also on an admin, correct?
that is correct.
Yeah.
I am tucked away at the moment.
All right, and I can actually get rid of even this bit. Oh, and I'm also going to turn names off too. Make sure names are off. Yes. And because I am I'm using a certain command, Vastin, right? I'm not going to have to worry about them grabbing my aggro, or grabbing the aggro of these things. Is that correct?
No, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Okay, and now they know where it is. See how long it takes them to get here. This is always an interesting part of these, because the rate at which people show up does have some interesting effects on how the fight tends to go.
You can still see my shadow, in terms of my character's shadow. That is not disrendered. Unrendered? Derendered? Deresed. Let's use a Tron term. Oh, and also I think my audio could go up a little bit. Okay.
So this is going to be a little different in that normally the players have to communicate and determine where the wraith is. They normally appear in front of someone, and it's kind of up to that person to let the rest of the world know where it actually showed up. But in this case, I've provided a broadcast for that. And here they come.
Oh, you did. So because I don't have a Gen Chat rendering on the screen, I didn't see the world broadcast. Did you just say, Did you just put it out there? Okay, good.
Yep. So we have a gathering of intrepid heroes up on this slope over here, sizing up their opponent and wisely not rushing it immediately. Oh, but he's seen them.
Now this isn't 3 ring wraiths, right? This is just
Oh,
like
no.
one and
Those
then
are
2
just
minion types, right?
Yeah, he's got a group of harrowing wraiths
Yeah.
kind of scattered around him. They're fairly dangerous in their own right, but not nearly as much as the big boy. Which today is the Forsaken Reaver.
Yeah, so we have deliberately not stated a lot about kind of the secrets of these ring race fights. But, you know, we can pull back the curtain a little bit here during today's stream, because it's really a little bit what it's about. So can you tell me a little bit more about the different kinds of ring wraiths?
So there are 9 of them, as indicated in the lore. Right now, only 2 have been active in the game thus far. We have one that I think will be showing up fairly soon, but I'm not going to go into that. They have a stable of skills that they use, and then each ring wraith has its own particular set of unique abilities that it will employ during these fights. They tend to be pretty aggressive in terms of using a lot of area of effects, as one might expect, given the number of players they have to fight. Right now, they don't move around very much because there's the classic problem of kiting. So generally speaking, we don't let the players kite them around very much. Though we're hoping to get them future iterations of them more mobile and get around that. We're learning a lot from these fights as we watch them. It's one of the reasons I'm here watching this today, just so I can see, how the Wraith behaves. Because there's no way to test the actual load and fight dynamics of a 50-person fight. We did run some tests of that scale, but it's always very different on a live server.
Now, There is no expectation that this is going to be a lag-free experience today. We should just put that in place. Not only
No, not with the stream.
not only because of just the nature of the Ring Wraith fight in general, and we can actually talk a little bit about that today as well, but especially because we're live streaming it like this, there is no expectation that this is going to be a lag-free experience. Hopefully we don't end up causing so many issues that this is not viable. If that does end up being the case, well, then we'll just not do it.
I think we've
right?
actually
We'll
reached
see.
the player cap for this layer here already, and there's a little bit of stutter, but this is pretty playable by the looks of it, so I'm reasonably happy with this, considering.
Yeah. People are getting it done, it looks like. So,
they're certainly busy.
One of the challenges of an event like this is when a Ring Wraith spawns, everyone wants in, if you can, which means you're within 5 levels of the level cap. Ideally, because you've got a ring too, but whatever. Not everyone who wants in on these Ring Wraith fights is sadly always going to get in. That is sort of the nature of a big server like this, and a event battle that can hold, you know, somewhere in the range of 40-ish to maybe closer to 50 people, right? Before things get to the
about
point
50.
that people need to start getting ported away and things. And so I know that there's some forum threads that have expressed some frustration with that. It's like, I wanted to be there. I almost made it. What the heck, right? But ultimately,
unfortunately, that's just
the
reality.
reality of this kind of
system.
event, which is why it's going to be available for a long time. Is the idea.
Yep.
And we're also doing some adjustments here, not just with next week's patch and beyond, but as we sort of move through the various pieces of content, you know, we'll have more to say about this mechanic as we get to those sections. But for now, especially when everyone wants their first, and everyone wants their stuff, it could be a little bit frustrating. But we do have some things that we are working on for next week as well. I know that you did some work this week on a patch that'll be going, well, we have a meeting on it today, but something like next week. Maybe if everything goes pear-shaped the week after, but you know, something like the next week or so, right? And we could talk a little bit about some of the work there, and that's both to fine-tune this experience that we're seeing right now, but also to address some of the other pieces of feedback that have come up in the community and things that we've just noticed.
Yep. So we're working on the cadence of how often the Ring Wraiths appear. Right now, we're not doing them too often, and part of that is because we want time to refine the experience before we, you know, push people through it more frequently. That's obviously causing some frustration for people who can't get into it yet, but it will be going for quite a long time, I believe, so I'm not too concerned people will have a chance to engage with it. And I think we will be upping the cadence somewhat, but but right now we're keeping it pretty uncertain, so that it's pretty much luck and chance that people have a chance to engage with it, because it's kind of the fairest thing we can arrange right now.
My client seems to be doing not the greatest. I might actually, after this fight, I think we're going to kick my graphics down. I always have them up because of the live stream, but I fear maybe
mine's handling it pretty well, happily.
Yeah, I think maybe I should just do that now while we're talking. But so tell me a little bit. Can we talk about some of the changes he actually did this week? I know that we could probably talk a little bit about it, right? Some of the frequency and things like that, work that's being done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the biggest thing we did is we instituted layering. To make sure that we can't have, because one thing we didn't expect, but probably should have, is that we were getting a ton of people. So the Wraith has the ability to clear the area immediately around him out if it gets too crowded. But what was happening is a lot of sightseers were coming, and crowding around the edges of the fight. And he can only reach so far to deal with that. So, and that was creating a lot more lag. And so the layering keeps that from happening, largely.
And that went in with
that is definitely
right?
helping. That's in now.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in a number of parts of the world already, but there were a number of key parts where it wasn't in, and those actually tended to be the areas where the Wraiths were likely to appear, because of the way the mechanic works. So, so we went and covered all those areas now, so that should generally kick in. Like, layering is definitely on here right now. which is tough. It means that there are some people who are standing right where we are right now, but it's a nice calm day in the Barrow Downs for them.
Relatively calm for the Barrow Downs. Yes.
Yeah.
I did the wrong thing by trying to re-render my client in the middle of this fight, so that's why I've switched cameras for the live stream. Just for those who know, once I can see that my game client's back, I'll re-pop on the game cam. So what else do we got? What do we got going in the near future that you know
about? The big thing I've been working on is the third Wraith. And I'm trying to take lessons learned from these first two guys into his design. One interesting thing about the Wraith fights you'll notice is that they have an enormous effect stack on them. This is an interesting technical challenge. That effect stack that monsters get built up on them is pretty expensive. It's one of the things that tends to cause some of the lag. Oh, they finally got a ring in here. They've been fighting this guy this whole time without a ring. They've actually done pretty good damage to him, considering. But somebody finally showed up with the ring and started breaking his defense, which makes him considerably easier. So this fight is probably not going to go too much longer now that they have that.
Okay. Well, I'm almost ready to bring back in the game client here. My game client was just like, "What are you doing? What are you thinking? Why? Why would you do that?" All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think future fights are probably going to feature more summons, for example, or more frequent summons to keep people busy and give them less opportunity to just completely dogpile onto the boss. That'll help keep that effect stack from getting quite so ridiculous. And should help improve performance and make the fights feel more dynamic. As I said, the Wraiths themselves, they have enormous range on all their abilities, so they don't need to move very much. But right now we don't let them move very much to avoid kiting problems, because kiting would just make this ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, this fight has not gone well for my video rendering. We could try a second fight.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Server's getting a little twitchy here. Oh no, it's back. It's doing well now.
Yeah.
They are down to the last 20% on this guy.
All right. Let me take some more emergency action here. So I don't like say people are in chat saying that they're not seeing it like this, so that's.
Yeah, it's, you can definitely see some stutter here, but it's relatively smooth considering what's going on here.
Yeah.
And the number of effects that are going off. So I'm fairly pleased with it. If we can improve it more, great. But and as the event goes into its longer term, you probably won't have quite so many people trying to crush in on these, and it'll get more and more accessible over time. So I don't think that'll be a long-term problem, but we'll see. Oh, there he goes.
Yep. Oh, there's the Ring Wraith? Okay. Well, that's fine. We've got a second one here that we can do in a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me get the game client going. I actually am just relaunching the game client, so be just a minute, folks.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not set up to stream, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd give you mine. But
I don't have the worst computer. It's pretty good, but it isn't. It is a real human being's computer. So.
Yeah, I just finally got a new one after quite a while.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying the horsepower.
Yeah, it was a great computer when I bought it in like 2019, but. And I do have a 3060 in there too now.
Yep. So now we have fireworks going off.
All right.
People are having a good time here. So that's good. That fight went reasonably smoothly. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think we could probably do another one in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll have to go sneak off and find someplace else to do it.
Yeah, give me a second
Definitely.
to render my client and all.
Oh yeah. No, you get your setup going back. So yeah, one interesting thing we found is that if we start the fight really close to a travel point or a place where there are already a lot of players, it goes so hard so fast, the server actually does have quite a bit of trouble with that. Like if a lot of people show up really quick, it's pretty rough. Though that is also before we get the layering in, so maybe that might not even be a problem now. But as a rule, if people trickle in, it's a little bit easier for the fight to get rolling properly.
Yeah, it's not entirely dissimilar to the sort of thing that we see when I do these live public event visits, things like that. So.
Oh yeah. When you announce something in a stream and a zillion people come rolling in, I bet.
There we are. Okay. Huh.
Yep, servers are interesting beasts, and they are tricky to keep going happily. Let's see, what's another good place to go
looking
here?
a lot better here, so. And there's a bunch of people here, and I'm doing fine, so we'll probably be alright. It was probably because I was trying to have the client re-render the graphics settings during the fight. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
Okay. We'll have a new location in a moment. Let's see, where is...
People are besmirching my computer in the live stream chat. This is not okay. You're gonna hurt its feelings, It can tell. Yeah.
Potatoes have feelings too?
Yep. Alright. While you're getting set up, let me get to a little bit of news here. We're looking at wraiths. These are a very different kind of, well, not a very different kind of wraith, but a very different kind of character playing it. And that is that we made an announcement this week that Before the Shadow has gone free. We had previously made it free to VIPs, but now it's free to everyone. Free account. You don't have to do anything. Before the Shadow is now available on your account. But we do have a coupon code as well, and this is going to get you 2 steeds, one of which is gated by being VIP and one of which is available to everyone. So you'll use the coupon code Galadriel's Gift through the Lotra store inside of the game, and you'll get 2 steeds. The Festive Azure steed, that's the one that all players can get applied to one of your characters in your accounts. And then the VIP steed is a teal fireworks laden steed. And as long as you're VIP, you can click on it and get it added to your stable. And if you're not VIP, you can just stash it in a bank or something. And then if you do ever become VIP, then you'll have that available to you to redeem. But we're doing a special gift for that. And this is part of our announcement of making Before the Shadow free. And that coupon code is available to redeem through September 25th. And there's a page up on Lotra.com where you can see the steeds and learn a little bit more if you want to as well. This weekend, we've got an event of 25% skirmish marks. That runs through September 2nd, being shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern on September 3rd. In terms of sales this week, this is your final weekend to get the Homesteads and Harvest Coffer. That's available through Monday. Monday is a Labor Day holiday in the United States, so our bonuses and sales and stuff are going kind of through Monday. And so available through September 2nd in the Lotra store. That's the Homesteads and Harvest Coffer. This came back. Might be a while before it comes back again. So if you're interested in that, maybe do check it out. And we do have an article on Lotra.com about that. And then the other big thing this week really was our game release, which was update 41.2. It includes a new free instance. This is a level 150 instance. So these folks here on Mordor and Angmar don't have it and won't for some time. But everyone else has got a new free instance. This is here as part of our Year of the Dragon celebration, celebrating 50 years of Dungeons & Dragons. And it's something that's happening daybreak-wide as a corporate celebration. So Lotra got, hey, we got dragons. We got all sorts of dragons in Lotra. Drakes, perhaps, maybe more appropriately termed, but nonetheless, we got them too. And so we're celebrating one with a free instance here this week and beyond. So you can just go ahead and check that out. There's also a coupon code associated with that free instance. So we've got a website article, lochor.com, where you can figure out more about what the portrait frame and the golden drakeling pet, the green drake portrait frame and golden drakeling pet, and that coupon code is Smog Spoils, available to redeem one per account through September 25th. We've been publishing everything. We've been publishing all the things this week. It's been very busy. It's been great though, because we're rolling out a whole bunch of freebies and a lot of good changes to the game and updates to this fight and other things. So, Sebastian, how you doing? We good to go?
Pretty good here.
All right, let's do this.
We're going to do this a little bit differently.
Okay.
I want you to pop in here, and I'm not going to announce where this one is, but those watching your stream can look around wherever you are and then figure it out.
All right. Sounds good.
So take a good look at the landscape around.
My screen may have just defied us because it just put where we were right up on big text, right there. But
okay, here we go.
he's not talking about it's not talking about the deer. I don't think. You should get out of there, deer. You really, really should. Just saying.
Luckily, the Ring Wraiths are not interested in such lesser prey. They prefer PCs.
Yes, the instance is staying. There was a miscommunication that happened with the release notes, where there was kind of an earlier thought that we were going to be putting it on a rotation or maybe adding it to a schedule. And so bits of that went out in the release notes this week, but I've corrected it since. The Dragon and the Storm instance, or Storm and the Dragon instance, is going to be available long term. I think the plan ultimately is to rotate it into a seasonal instance as part of the festival, or maybe a festival as well. But it's just going to be available and for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, now this is close to travel points, so people are pouring in here really fast, unsurprisingly. Kind of curious to see. It was interesting. I think we had more stuttering as people were arriving, but as people actually settle into the fight, I think performance is actually improving. That probably has to do with the way we move characters between land blocks. So, you know, as with a lot of these games, this world is like broken up into a lot of chunks that all exist on different servers and stuff. One of the more annoying things that our server has to do is when a character walks from one area to another, it has to unload them from one chunk of the server and load them onto the next. So people traveling around creates a bit of load. It's kind of funny because an older character, like a character that's been around forever and has a huge quest log and a huge inventory, is more expensive to migrate around. So old characters are actually more expensive, which is like significantly more expensive. It's kind of funny. But it looks like we have a full crowd here now.
So far, so good on being able to render the fight, so that's good.
Oh, good.
Sorry, it's a bummer that our first attempt at it didn't go well, but I suppose that's the nature of a first attempt, isn't it? So.
Yeah, well, they haven't cleaned up these harrowing raids yet, so that's going to be killing a bunch of people. One of the interesting things is fights is, of course, everybody wants to pile on the big wraith, but you know the ads do get fairly deadly if they're allowed to pile up. And they tend to appear fairly scattered. So it's incumbent on somebody to clear them.
So, someone has a question. Is it possible to have the Wraith spawn on every layer of an instance?
Oh, well, the answer is probably not. One, it would be pretty difficult for me to figure out how to do that. I'm not even sure I could. But let's pretend I could. The problem is the layers aren't guaranteed to be on different servers. It does keep people from interacting with each other, which is important, because for every player that can see every other player, there's a cost. So when you have a ton of players in one place, they all are sending information to each other. And that's one of the big things that caused a lot of hitching. So getting players onto these other layers keeps them from interacting with each other as much, which reduces that cost, but doesn't necessarily put them on a different server. It can, and often it will. But if I put wraiths on every layer, the overall at that point, the overall server load would be getting so high that I'd be pretty concerned about how things would go. I don't know. I mean, we could try it at some point, but I'm dubious that it would actually help things at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So eventually, people will be able to participate more widely in the fights, and that'll happen just kind of naturally as people have had the chance to run it. You know, we started the show, and I started the show deliberately because I knew that there was going to be some frustration expressed about the Ring Wraith battle on the stream when we did this, and you know, we do understand, right? But I don't think we want the solution to be, well, we're just going to start spawning them every hour on the hour or something like that. We do want the Ring Wraith spawns to be pretty rare at this point, but also available and it be exciting long term. So that does mean that, especially during these first few weeks and perhaps even first couple of months, people are going to... Everyone wants the new hot thing, right? And in the same way that not everyone gets that brand new game console, not everyone's going to be able to take part in these fights. But we do want to make them as widely available as possible, and so have them available not just, say, during prime time, but during the day and morning and other parts too. But then also make sure, to our best of ability, we do try to cover those prime times as well.
Yeah, right now their appearance times are semi-random, and we've allowed them to spawn in prime time. We've had them spawn in off prime time. It generally runs a little smoother if they spawn in off prime time. Ooh, that was a pretty good hitch.
Which we should mention, that's why we picked Mordor here, because it's not, maybe technically not quite Mordor's prime time yet, because it's only about, for Central Europe, it's about 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, people are just starting to pile in.
But in prime time's just a little bit later. You know, people eat dinner and do stuff, and then play video games. But we did want to make sure we were there toward the European evening as well. Yep.
So how are they doing here? Do they have a ring? Have they broken it? I've been paying close enough attention to his battle calls here. He currently has his defense up. Well, they're making pretty good progress regardless. He is about 60%. It was interesting, we had one yesterday where they really mowed through him quite quickly, and I was surprised. This is going a good bit slower.
That's the one that was actually on Angmar yesterday, right?
Yep.
About?
Yep.
Yeah, we were able to watch that one as well. Big surprise, some of us have been watching these fights. And that was part of why I'm doing this on the live stream here today, in fact. But, yeah. So is the trick really just having a ring bearer?
I mean, a ring bearer makes it a lot faster. Because that defense they have is...
ring bearer going here?
I'm not seeing his defense break, so I'm not sure they actually have a ring bearer here.
Alright.
It sometimes takes a little while for them to break it. It's pretty much there's just a chance they break it with each hit they land. But it's a pretty good chance. But I don't think they have one here. Oh, did it just go? Maybe it did. I can't tell. It's very noisy in here. Okay, yeah, I think somebody did break it. So there must be one here.
How much of the problem is I suppose the answer is yes, but how much of the problem is all these people trying to get in here? And how much of this, performance that we actually see a little bit degraded for due to this ever-changing, constant list of buffs and debuffs and things like that that's happening out in Grim Southward?
Oh, I wish I could quantify that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's tough. We definitely saw some issues in our test servers with a really big effect stack. So that definitely can become a problem if it gets too deep. But in that case, we had like a full 100 players fighting at once.
Yep.
Because we hadn't instituted the teleport outs yet, and so that effect stack got really deep. Keeping it to around 50 players seems to keep that from getting out of control.
Yep. Well, it's slow moving here, but they're getting it done.
Yep. So he reinstates his defense every about fifth of his health. But as long as the ring bearer is still alive, they can break it again.
Yeah. So 4.2 million morale, huh?
Yeah.
But it's not just about the morale. It's obviously about the debuffs and mitigations and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at how fast his bar's dropping right now with his defense broken.
Yeah.
Like, so one of the interesting challenges of balancing fights in an MMO, and this is true in most MMOs.
Nice. There we go. They did it. Yeah.
Is that for each character, for each player you add to a fight, you do not get a linear increase in damage. Like 50 players do not do 50 times as much damage as one player. It's a lot more because all their buffs and all the debuffs on the boss start to overlap, and most of those are multiplicative. And even if they're fairly small, like 3% or 5% buffs, when you have a bunch of those stacked on you and you've got a huge mess of them stacked on the boss, the effects it has on the overall incoming and outcoming damage, it gets really extreme.
Yeah.
So 50 people do a lot more damage than you would expect, even for their numbers.
I mean, when I do these anniversary events, there's no expectation. I don't have to worry about balancing challenge. I really don't, because I'll just kill him if I need to. But also just because it's a Cordovan and hanging out in an anniversary event, you had to design a system that actually sort of keeps that 50-player fight in balance somehow, kind of. And that must have been an incredible challenge. Because I know, I'll spawn Balrogs that have massive morale pools, and they're just wiped when you get, a public group like this attacking them all, so.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I think we should do another one.
You want to do another?
Yeah, I think we should. We've got time. We've got 20 minutes yet, and this timing should work out pretty perfect to do it.
Sure, let me sneak off and select another location. And I will be back with you in a minute.
Mm-hmm. All right. While he is getting set up, let me see. I did want to call out that we did update our loot boxes this week, but we also updated Filbert Fig, and there's a website article you can read about that called New Rewards and Adventurers and Travelers Steelbound Loot Boxes, August 2024. And we got some birders outfits, accessories, a birdcage, sophisticated birdcage, a chaffinch tome, magpie, and loot boxes, birders pack and loot boxes. With Filbert Fig, in addition to the stuff I said above minus the magpie and birders pack, we also have the sophisticated jerboa added to Filbert Fig and the Steed of the Eldar. The Steed of the Eldar has been around for quite some time now, but it's a pretty hot steed, and it's one that I know a lot of people really like, so that's now in with Filbert Fig, so of interest to you. And you can find an article where we do have images of this stuff over on Lotro.com. Well, we don't have that one, but the rest. So. And I think that's pretty much it. We did a bunch of class work, hardtack event work. And that's something to mention for the live stream. We made a change this week to the crafting events, both the hardtack and Forester crafting events. Now that they've been with us for a little while, one of the pieces of feedback that we've seen is players have some difficulty knowing when it's active and when it isn't. And having the 10 on, 14 off rotation worked-ish, but with 2 of them, it just ended up getting more complex than it needed to be. So we've changed it. And starting September 1st, so starting real soon here, whatever day that is, Sunday, Monday? Sunday. The hardtack crafting event will be, let me make sure did I say that right? Or did I do it reverse? Now that I'm going off the top of my head, I don't trust myself.
Okay.
Okay, yes, the hardtack crafting event will start on the 1st of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern, and it'll run until 3 a.m. Eastern on the 8th of every month. So it'll be out for a week, essentially. It start at 10 a.m. Eastern on the 1st, run until 3 a.m. Eastern on the 8th, so through the 7th, and then the Forester crafting event will be on the 15th of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern, and run until 3 a.m. Eastern on the 22nd, so 1st and 15th. Hardtack and Forester event, and we're going to just do that rotation for the foreseeable future. But that kicks off on Sunday with the start of the hardtack crafting event. So I wanted to make sure we got that there as well. All right, let's do this then. Let me head on over to you. Also, thanks for the dancers there. It's pretty fun.
There we go.
It's snowy. I think I was here fairly recently.
Oh yeah?
I've been leveling up my character on Angmar. I'm up to about level... Did I just hit 41? I think I just hit 41 last night on Angmar. I want to get character all the way up to 50 and start taking part in these fights and raids and things if I can. But for now,
yeah,
I'm
mine is still pretty low level at the moment.
Well, it takes a while. I
don't
know that the hours... For me, I guess probably I will have put... I don't know, 20 hours in? Maybe to level up to 40 here? Something like that. Doesn't seem too bad, but... Maybe less.
I've heard that farming is currently one of the fastest ways to level in the game, which actually surprised me. I
don't know if I should be given too many hints here on the live stream, but I have found when I hit the bumps that I need, it was like, all right, things are looking a little red here. Let me go and take care of this. It's tended to be, I've gone for like the further adventures. The missions are a good way to do it. And then, of course, just general questing and things like that, too. But in particular, when I've needed a little XP, I've been going through the further adventures and the missions in particular. And the missions have the benefit of giving you nice currency and things, too, so... And then, frankly, our festival, which is here through September 3rd. Oh, there we go. So there's another bit of news. This is nearing the end here of Farmers Fair. So let's get that sucker done if you want to. That's available through September 3rd here as well. That's been not a terrible way to level up either. It was kind of nice that we debuted the...
Oh dear lord, here they come.
Yeah.
That is quite the swarm of people. Yeah, there's definitely a more noticeable stutter as people arrive, I think. At least I think that's what I'm seeing.
Who will win in a fight, 1 adult or 100 children? Let's find out.
Interestingly, the number of smaller enemies in the area does not seem to very dramatically affect. I mean, I'm sure if we put a ton of them down, it would be more of a problem. But they don't seem to affect the performance of battles very much. Which is one of the reasons I think I want to feature more ads in future fights here. Because I think it'll actually, ironically, improve performance.
I see a bunch of defeated people here. At least a couple.
Yep, the Wraiths have some fairly deadly effects. They have one big scream that tends to get people. That they use relatively frequently. The other one that gets people a lot is the Dark Portal, which is where a vile disk of darkness appears under your feet, and if you don't get out of it, that's it. You're done.
Tell me a little bit about these purple zombie things that are all hanging around. What's up with them?
Oh, so these are whites. They're shadowed whites because they're not real. They're being summoned by the power of the Ring Wraith. So but they hit hard. Most of the things that the Wraiths summon are, shadowy illusions, but deadly all the same. Which is why they have this odd appearance to them. They're basically formed of shadow. Yeah. Right. Now Perf is definitely starting to suffer more. I think we've probably got more players showing up now. Let me see how many players we have on the server right now.
I sense it. Okay, so he basically just telegraphed, I think, that someone showed up the ring. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, he did. Yeah. When the shield was broken for the first time, they mention it. Like, hey, what was that? Who brought the toy?
Are we dropping in-game gifts? No. Yes. Does the Ring Wraith count as a gift? But this will be the last one, I think.
Yeah. If we keep doing this, the server is probably going to catch fire.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons we like to keep their appearances random. Most of the time, it really does help. Like if we pre-announced a time and place like 5 hours ahead,
yeah,
that would be bad.
Yeah, which is why I deliberately kind of guerrilla style just did this Friday, because that was the only chance of having the performance that we are having. So.
Yep.
Someone is saying in chat, may I say I adore the Shadow Dashhound? Dashhound? How do you say that? It is hilarious. It scratches behind it scratches behind its little evil ear with its little evil foot. Props to whoever decided that wiener dog should be among the evil barterable pets. You're welcome.
That one did not occur to me. I can't take credit for that. That was another person's suggestion, and a good one. Yeah, so they got the ring here immediately this time, so he's going relatively quickly.
Well, I suppose knowing that we were spawning a couple here, the first one they didn't have the ring bearer right away, and then once the ring bearer showed up, they were primed and ready, as it were. So I've not gotten a ring, but then I wouldn't, right, because of my level.
Oh, that's going to be really rare. No. Level does not matter for the rings.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, because you can just trade it to someone who can use it, even if that person isn't using it. So where should I be looking? Did I have a ring drop for me and I just didn't note it because I didn't loot the corpse or whatever?
No, and I'm not going to say.
You're not going to say? Okay. All right.
No.
Check your fingers. Yeah. You do have tech, someone's asking in chat here, to prioritize ring bearers to the layer containing the Nazgul. So, for example, if you have a ring and you're trying to join the fight, do you have a special path?
Unfortunately, no. Layering is, like, kind of really deep in the code, and I don't have access to any way to, like, preferentially sort people into layers like that. It is something where the players themselves, so as the fight goes on, people do get teleported away, so there are always new spots opening up on the layer as the fight goes. So as a rule, you can try to summon someone with a ring in. somebody who's on the lair can try and summon someone with a ring in, and they can get them or they might not.
Strangely, I think I noticed that when I have my client up and I'm targeting and displaying the debuff bar on the Ring Wraith, I'm seeing actually a bit of a drop in performance on my client compared to when I turn it off. But I wanted to show the health, and so that's why I did it, but as soon as I turned it off, things got a little better.
Yeah, I think there's actually a flag to turn off the debuffs on an enemy mob.
Yeah.
So yeah, they mowed him down quickly, even with the stutter.
Well, congratulations, everybody. That worked out pretty good. That was fun.
Yep, so that is how the fights tend to go so far. We are definitely still tweaking things to try and improve performance further. They're reasonably playable right now, but they do get stuttery if a lot of people show up. And we'll be playing with the rates of appearance and so on, so that more people will have a chance to engage with them. But again, we're really trying to get the mechanics smoothed out as much as possible before we make them particularly frequent. And the event will be going for a long time, so there will be quite a few of them over the coming months.
Lots of opportunity to check it out and have some fun with it. Let me say goodbye to you, Vastin. Thank you so much for joining me here on Court of the Rings today. So,
you're welcome.
Now get back to work. No, I'm kidding. Have fun. All right. Thank you so much. Ahead of the long weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon. I'm going to drop you from the call here. So, all right. It's just going to be us for a couple minutes here on the end of the show. I'll reiterate a little bit of news, and we can maybe drop a few little trinkets here in the world. But first, let me get myself revisible to the game world so people know I'm here. Alright, I'm back. There we go. Now I'm actually visible in the game world here. So let me wave quick to people. I'll drop a few things. Let's see. Because this is Mordor, I don't think many of these people have many of these community pets. So let's drop a few community pets here, huh? Is this working? I can't tell because I have names off. No, it is not. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. It showed up. It just got it taken right away. I need to turn off adoption notices. I've been getting them on Angmar since I've been playing my character on Angmar. I don't know if someone's trolling me or if they're being funny or if they're just being nice or what. But I have to just say no. I will not become your adopted father or whatever. So. I can do this. How about this? Because we're in the snow, let me give out a few of these here too. This is some the snowball skills that'll be pretty hot here as well. I'll just drop a few of those. Alright, well, I think that's going to wrap it up in a few minutes here for the show, but this is going to wrap up my time on Mordor, so let me take a bow, And let me wave goodbye to everyone. And let me swap cameras. So I know I'm seeing a little bit of salt in chat. I appreciate Ekthol Drahan, your frustration in not being able to get to the fight. We did talk during the live stream here today a little bit about the expectation and the reality that not everyone who's on at a given moment is going to be able to take part in every dragon fight. And as you saw, I think we went into some of the detail about sort of what's making up the fight right now, some of the things we're doing both in the short term and longer term to be able to get as many people in and have a good experience while doing it as we can. So we do have things that we're working on for these Ring Wraith fights, and this is the current state of it right now after just debuting, really, here within the past couple of weeks. And so that's the state of things. Had a pretty fun time, I think, doing this on the live stream, even if my graphical rendering wasn't necessarily the greatest, and it did bring up some frustration among those in Twitch chat as well. So hope you're having a good time playing the Lord of the Rings online. Don't forget about those free coupons, the free instance, the free Before the Shadow. If you've not played Before the Shadow yet, maybe roll up a new character and give that one a shot this weekend. Hope you're having a great time on Angmar and Mordor. It has been a very successful time for us and the community on those game worlds, so we really appreciate that as well. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. My understanding is Druid's Fire is going to be up next because the Tolkien Professor is out today, and then we've got our full roster of shows. And I guess since nobody's watching anymore, that's not true. I could probably say, I might pop on here at some point too, as well, and we'll see how things go. So, there you go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye.